are many stories in the world, and even more of them that people prefer not to talk about. Stories they dream of forgetting, wiping from memory, and never returning to. Such a story happened to John. John was born in a small town in the north of the country where everyone knew everyone else. The town was called Merrywell. People here lived like one large community, and so gossip spread very quickly. And, as is often the case, many strange situations arose in towns like these, something along the lines of Stowe, Vermont. Only Merrywell was founded by even older, more traditional people. And these people were quite archaic. They believed in superstitions. A black cat crossing the road, something bad is bound to happen. If someone knocks at the door at 3:33 a.m., it's not a human. And so on. These old beliefs ruled John for years, even though he considered himself a modern person. He moved to the nearest city as soon as he could, trying to leave the spirit of Merrywell behind. However, he never locked the door of his small rental apartment with the security chain, and his only habit brought from home was to always turn off his phone at night to avoid late calls. Last week, he started noticing small things. His apartment keys always lay on the coffee table, but in the morning he'd find them on the mat by the door. The milk he bought the day before would turn sour within a day. Then the dreams began. Not his, but foreign memories of wandering dark hallways and looking at his own sleeping eyes. He woke up every night at the same time, a few minutes before 3:30. He woke up with a jolt. It was dark, but not quiet. The silence was broken by a vibration alert. John reached for the phone on the nightstand. He distinctly remembered turning it off, but the screen was lit, displaying a single, unexpected SMS message. Last message from me. He saw that the message was sent at 3:33 a.m., and the sender tool was his own phone number. The text was short. Don't leave the room. He's already in the apartment. John felt an icy dread settle inside him. He quickly checked the message history. It was the only one. No sent messages, no drafts, and the phone was currently on. It must be some wild error, he thought. Maybe a network glitch, or the old device going crazy. Gritting his teeth, John decided to check the hallway to prove to himself that he was losing his mind. He grabbed a heavy flashlight and slowly, almost silently, began to approach the door. Every floorboard creaked, amplifying the silence. There he was, right at the door. His hand froze on the knob. John was about to turn it when suddenly, knock, knock, knock. Someone tapped quietly. It wasn't the sound of a knock on the front door that would travel down the hall. This was a knock on his bedroom door. From inside, the blood froze in his veins. John backed away, his gaze fixed on the wood. Slowly, as if in a dream, he looked around his room, the room he had just woken up in. The room was empty, just as it had been a moment ago. His eyes dropped to his own hand, which tightly gripped the flashlight. He looked at his wrist, his shirt, his fingers. Knock, knock. The tapping came again. John realized that the sounds he was hearing were coming from the hallway, and the one knocking was himself. At that moment, a quiet, low voice echoed from the hallway, one that John could barely recognize. It was husky, as if covered in dust. The voice belonged to him. "He won't let you out," the voice whispered from behind the door, and the words resonated in his own head, but in a completely different, alien tone. "We won't let you out." Suddenly, John felt his muscles tense. His hand holding the flashlight relaxed. The flashlight fell onto the rug, but John couldn't even twitch a finger. He felt his mouth slowly stretch into a wide, friendly smile, but the smile was foreign, devoid of his inner panic. He felt his eyes looking at the door, but they saw not fear, but simply the next step. You was no longer John. John was locked deep inside, screaming in captivity, but having no control over his vocal cords or limbs. His body approached the door and opened it. Standing before him was his own double, or whatever had just emerged from the hallway. The double raised its phone, miming the sending of a message, and then nodded gently. And the John, standing in the doorway, simply smiled, reached down for his phone on the rug, picked it up, and typed the text, which he immediately sent. Last message from me.